3 years ago, we had nothing. Not almost nothing. Nothing. The savings account was empty. The credit cards were maxed. We had lost the business, the house we rented, most of what we owned, and a version of ourselves that we thought was permanent. And standing in that place, that specific combination of financial devastation and personal freefall that people who have been there recognize immediately, and people who have not been there cannot fully imagine. We made a decision that most people in our situation would have called insane. We decided to build a Barndominium, not because we had the money, not because the circumstances made sense, but because we had run out of road going the conventional direction, and the only path that felt real was the one we were going to have to build ourselves. This is the honest story of how we went from $0 and no land to owning a finished Barndominium. The real numbers, the real mistakes, the real people who helped and the ones who did not, and the specific steps, in order that anyone starting from zero can take to build this same path if they're willing to do the work and wait for the results. Welcome back to the Homes and Haven. Subscribe right now and hit that notification bell, because this channel is where we document the complete journey, the wins and the losses, the smart decisions and the expensive mistakes, every single week. Like this video, if you have ever been in a place where the conventional path was closed and you needed to find a different one, stay with me all the way to the end, because the final section is the specific step-by-step framework, the exact sequence we followed from zero to landowner, that we're giving away completely free because we wish someone had given it to us when we needed it most. That framework is what this whole video is building toward. Do not skip ahead. Where we actually started, the real zero. I want to be specific about what zero looked like in our situation, because specific is useful and vague is not. Vague does not help anyone who is in a similar place make decisions. Specific does. When the business failed, it took 2 years of savings with it. When the savings were gone, the rent became impossible, and the rental we had lived in for 4 years was no longer ours. We moved into a family member's basement, which was an act of generosity we will never fully repay, with 2 children, 2 adults, and everything that fit in a 10-foot moving truck. The credit score was 571. The monthly income at that point was approximately $3,400 between us, a combination of part-time work and whatever contract work we could find in the first months after the business closed. The debt was $67,000, not counting the business losses. We had no land, no tools, no construction knowledge, and no obvious path from the basement to anything that looked like a home we owned. What we had was time, which is the one resource that poverty and crisis consistently provide in abundance. We had time to research, time to think, time to have the long conversations about what we actually wanted rather than what we had been told we were supposed to want. And in those conversations, in that basement, reading everything we could find about alternative home building, we kept arriving at the same conclusion. The conventional housing market, the market that sells you a house you cannot afford with a mortgage you service for 30 years in a neighborhood somebody else chose for you, was not going to be accessible to us for a long time, if ever. But land was cheaper than we thought. Steel buildings were cheaper than we thought. And the gap between what we could realistically work toward and an actual home was smaller than the conventional housing market wanted us to believe. What you are about to hear is a 6-year journey. Not 6 months. Not 18 months. 6 years. Most content about this kind of build tries to compress the timeline into something that feels achievable over a long weekend of motivation. We are not going to do that. The honesty of the timeline is the most important thing we can give you, because it is what lets you plan realistically rather than fail enthusiastically. The first step, rebuilding credit before everything else. This section is unglamorous. There are no before and after photos here. No dramatic reveal. Just the slow, repetitive, disciplined work of rebuilding a credit score from 571 to something that could access a loan, and the specific steps that move the number. In 2026, the mental health dimension of financial recovery is better understood than it has ever been. And the reason we are telling you about the psychological strategy behind our debt approach, not just the financial one, is that the approach that keeps you mentally in the game for 18 months is worth more than the approach that is technically optimal, but that you abandon after 4 months because you cannot see any progress. Keep that framing in mind as you read this section. The first thing we did was pull all 3 credit reports and go through them line by line. Not because we expected errors, though we found 2, but because understanding exactly what was dragging the score down told us exactly what to address and in what order. The two errors we found are more common than most people realize. In 2026, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has significantly streamlined the online dispute process, making it faster and more accessible to challenge misidentified accounts and what are sometimes called zombie debts, old accounts that have been incorrectly re-aged or attributed to the wrong person. One of our errors was a collection account that belonged to someone with a similar name. The other was an incorrect account status on a card we had paid off. Disputing both through the Credit Bureau online dispute process, which cost nothing, took 60 days and recovered approximately 40 points when both disputes resolved in our favor. Check your reports before you do anything else. The errors may already be there waiting to be corrected. The secured credit card was the next tool. We opened one secured card with a $500 deposit, money we saved by eliminating every non-essential expense for 2 months, and used it for one recurring monthly expense, paying it in full every month without exception. No carrying a balance, no interest charges, just the consistent demonstration of on-time payment that credit scoring models reward. Within 12 months, that single card and the dispute corrections had moved the score from 571 to 634. We also addressed the debt systematically rather than randomly. We used the debt snowball, paying the smallest balance first while making minimum payments on everything else, then rolling that payment to the next smallest when the first is eliminated. The debt avalanche, attacking the highest interest rate first, is the mathematically optimal strategy for minimizing total interest paid over the life of the debt. We know that. We chose the snowball anyway. The reason is psychological. When you are in financial crisis, you need to see things getting smaller. You need to close accounts. You need the experience of elimination, not just the slow reduction of a large, high-interest balance that feels like it is barely moving. In 2026, that approach, prioritizing visible progress over mathematical efficiency, is increasingly recognized as the more sustainable strategy for people recovering from genuine financial crisis rather than simply managing comfortable debt. We paid off 3 small accounts in the first 18 months and watched the score move to 668 as the available credit utilization improved. 18 months from the basement floor, the credit score was 668 and the debt had been reduced by $22,000. Neither of those numbers was sufficient to access a conventional mortgage. Both of them were sufficient to begin the next step, finding the land. How we bought 3 acres for $18,000. Land is where the Barndominium path diverges most dramatically from the conventional housing path, and where the financial mathematics begin to work in favor of someone starting from limited means rather than against them. We had a specific land search framework that eliminated most of the options immediately and focused the search on the parcels that matched our actual situation. The framework had 4 criteria. First, rural or semi-rural location in a county with low property taxes and no HOA, which in our region of the South meant looking at counties outside of a 30-mile radius from any significant metropolitan area. Second, owner financing available. Third, unrestricted or minimally zoned land that would allow us to place a temporary structure while we save for the build. Fourth, a total price under $25,000 with a down payment we could actually produce. The most important thing we learned about land searching in 2026 is that the best deals are not on the MLS. They are not on Zillow. They are in 2 specific places: LandWatch, which aggregates rural and recreational land listings, including owner finance offerings, and Facebook Marketplace, where private rural landowners list parcels directly without broker involvement, and where the negotiating environment is fundamentally different from the formal real estate transaction process. We found our parcel, 3 acres of unrestricted land in a county in the rural South, through a Facebook Marketplace listing from an elderly landowner who had inherited the parcel and had no use for it. The asking price was $21,000. We offered $18,000 with $3,000 down and the balance paid monthly at no interest over 36 months. He accepted within 2 days. That $3,000 down payment on $18,000 parcel is a 16.6% down payment, which, as it turns out, is almost exactly what rural private sellers look for when evaluating an owner finance offer. It covers their closing costs, demonstrates that the buyer has skin in the game, and represents enough commitment to make the risk of holding the note feel manageable. If you are pursuing owner-financed land in rural markets in 2026, that 15 to 17% down range is your target. Below it, and sellers are skeptical. Above it, and you are overcapitalizing a transaction that does not require it. In 2026, rural Tennessee, Alabama, and Arkansas still have pockets, particularly in the hill country and river bottom regions outside the major metro corridors, where 3-acre unrestricted parcels can be found for under $25,000 with seller financing available. These parcels exist. They require patient searching, direct outreach, and the willingness to look in places that real estate algorithms do not surface. They are not easy to find. They are findable. Living on the land, the trailer years. Before there was a Barndominium, there was a used travel trailer on 3 acres of raw land. And before I tell you what that was like, I need to tell you what it legally required. Because this is where a lot of people who attempt this path make an expensive mistake. Many counties in 2026 have tightened their regulations around full-time RV or trailer living on raw land. In some jurisdictions, it is outright prohibited. In others, it is permitted only with a temporary use permit, sometimes called a TUP, which establishes a defined period during which temporary dwelling is allowed while a permanent structure is under construction. The key to making this strategy work legally is finding a county with minimal zoning and verifying that minimal zoning explicitly before you buy the land or park anything on it. We called the county building department before we closed on the land purchase. We asked 2 specific questions. Is full-time RV living permitted on a private unimproved parcel while a permanent structure is being permitted and built? And what documentation is required to maintain that permission? Those 2 questions, asked before we spent $1 on the land, saved us from a situation that has cost other people significant time and money to resolve after the fact. The infrastructure costs on our parcel broke down as follows. The well came in at $4,200. We were fortunate in that our parcel sits above a shallow aquifer, and the well depth was manageable. In 2026, well costs in most rural markets run $3,800 to $7,500, depending on depth and geology, and on parcels with challenging rock formations they can go significantly higher. Budget conservatively. The septic system was $6,800 for a standard gravity-fed system on a parcel with adequate soil percolation. A standard gravity-fed septic in 2026 runs $6,000 to $8,000 in most rural markets. But if your soil fails the percolation test, you are looking at a mound system or an aerobic treatment system that can run $12,000 to $18,000 or more. Get the soil tested before you finalize your land purchase, if at all possible. The temporary power connection for the county road to a pole-mounted meter base on the property was $1,400. Total infrastructure investment before a single permanent structure was on the property, $12,400. We lived in that trailer for 2 years. Not because we wanted to, because that was what the timeline required. And I want to be honest about what those 2 years were. Because if you're considering this path, you deserve to know what the middle of it actually feels like rather than only hearing about the beginning and the end. There were months that were genuinely hard. The summer heat in a metal trailer without adequate insulation. The winter nights when the propane ran out before we expected it to. The conversations with the children about why we lived differently from their friends. None of that is glamorous. None of it makes a good thumbnail. All of it is real, and all of it was worth it. The complete framework. 0 to landowner in 6 years. This is the framework we promised at the beginning, not a motivational summary. A specific sequence with specific milestones. Year 1 and 2 are the foundation years. Pull your credit reports on day 1. Dispute every error. Open 1 secured card and use it for 1 recurring expense paid in full every month. Execute the debt snowball on every balance under $5,000. The goal at the end of year 2 is a credit score above 650 and total debt reduced by at least $15,000. Nothing else happens until this foundation is built. No land searching, no kit pricing, no distraction from the one job that makes everything else possible. Year 3 is the land year. With a credit score above 650 and visible debt reduction in your history, begin the land search in earnest. Use LandWatch and Facebook Marketplace. Filter specifically for owner financing. Target counties with minimal zoning and no HOA. Budget 15 to 17% for your down payment. Verify the county's temporary dwelling regulations before you close. Buy the land before you buy anything else. Year 3 into Year 4 is the infrastructure and temporary dwelling phase. Install the well, septic, and temporary power. Obtain any required temporary use permit. Move onto the land. Eliminate remaining housing cost by living in a paid-for or low-cost temporary structure on your own property. Use the freed monthly cash flow to build the build fund. Year 5 into Year 6 is the build phase. When the build fund reaches the level your kit and subcontractor estimates require, and your credit score qualifies for a construction loan if needed, break ground. Choose post frame if you're an owner-builder. Contribute your own labor to every phase that does not require a licensed trade. Hire licensed subcontractors for electrical, plumbing, and insulation. Get every inspection passed before proceeding to the next phase. The total elapsed time from 0 to finished home, 6 years in our case. Not 6 months. 6 years of deliberate, sequential, unglamorous work. Every person who told us the timeline was too long was right about the length and wrong about the conclusion. 6 years of building something real is not too long. 6 years of renting something you will never own is. If this video gave you an honest and complete picture of what this journey actually requires, the timeline, the sequence, the real numbers, and the unglamorous middle, hit that like button right now. It helps this content reach more people who are in the early stages of this decision and who deserve complete information rather than compressed timelines and aspirational math. Subscribe and turn on notifications because we document this entire journey every single week. Drop a comment below and tell me where you are in this sequence right now. Are you in the credit phase, the land search phase, the savings phase, or the build phase? I read every comment, and I want to help you identify the specific next step for your specific situation. Share this video with anyone you know who is in a financial recovery situation and trying to find a path to homeownership that the conventional market is not offering them. This framework might be exactly what they need to see. Start where you are. Build what you can. I will see you in the next one.